Everybody, and welcome to Comics from the Future. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. This is our big show where we go over all of the comics that you can pre-order by this Sunday. Around 9 o'clock is the cutoff, and we go over all the books. So when you head to your store, they're all sitting there waiting for you, or they're shipped to you, and you don't have to scrounge around and you miss something or whatever. You can find them all here. We're going to be going over some of the big #1s, some of the cool covers, and some other notable books we know you don't want to miss out on. So this is a pretty big show. There's
There's some really good stuff in this one.
really good stuff. It feels like they're all kind of swinging big for this one. We've got the kind of end of the Night Terror story arc, and we're starting to get some other books coming up from DC.
Yeah, this week is the last time we'll be talking about Night Terrors, I think.
Yeah. Until they come out, and then we talk about them on our
well,
other shows.
on this show, right?
On this show, this is one of the last ones. So before we get going, just want to remind you, make sure if you like the stuff we're doing to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. We've got about 4 videos a week now that we do, giving you all the good comic news and updated stuff. So you don't want to miss that. But let's get into this week's Comics from the Future, starting with our featured comics and starting with a pretty big one.
Yep. Captain America #1. So this is the brand new Captain America series written by J. Michael Straczynski. This is the new series after the current series. We have one more issue to go in the current run. The Captain America finale has come out in a couple weeks. It's going to wrap up the storyline they've been telling with the Outer Circle and the Sentry game and all that stuff. Once all that's done, we are getting this brand new series, and the details on this are a little bit light. We don't quite know exactly what's going to happen yet. We do know that obviously Steve Rogers changed the world back in the 40s, and there is there are powerful forces assembling to make sure that he doesn't do it again in current day. I don't really know what that means yet.
They don't want him to freeze himself and then unfreeze again.
Right? Yeah, it's like we gotta
new ideas.
We gotta keep him dry this time. But we do know that the past, present, and future collide as Cap deals with an existential threat that is set to put the world on a dark path. So, very vague details still. I feel like there's something big that they don't want to let the cat out of the bag on this one just yet. We do know in #2, looking ahead a little bit more, Spider-Man teams up with Captain America, which sounds really fun. So just a good brand new jumping on point for Captain America. Cool new story. JMS coming back to Marvel, so I'm sure that's going to be awesome. So I'm very excited for this. I've enjoyed the last run of both Captain America books, and this new one I think is going to be really good too. So we have our A cover here, and then we have our Frank Miller variant. We have a Gary Frank variant, which is very, man of the people, just Gary and stuff. I like that. Our George Perez variant. We've got a Humberto Ramos variant. He's about to throw a shield at somebody. Our John Romita Jr. variant. Our Carrie Andrews. This is only foil, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this is going to be a foil variant. So check with your shop about the price on this one because they could fluctuate a little bit. There's a Michael Cho Avengers 60th anniversary. I really like that one. That kind of reminds me of the Ultimates #1 too, where he's holding up the shield. And then this Olivier Coipel variant.
Yeah, super cool. I'm excited about this. I love Straczynski's run on Thor. One of my favorite runs on a Marvel character.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he's bringing to this, since they really haven't told us too much.
Right.
Next up is one that's really exciting. I actually read the first few pages of this. We got an early preview, and I had to stop myself because I didn't want to ruin it. But this is Action Comics presents Doomsday Special #1. So this is really cool. This is a special that actually is. Sometimes specials are just kind of like one and done stories. This is a one shot, but this is really going to be setting up some stuff to come in the future, especially next year's Superman big crossover. So in this, this is by Dan Waters, and the art is by Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira. And Doomsday, after his most recent kill, or the most recent time he's died, which was in Dark Crisis, he's been sent to hell, and he's now the top dog in hell. He is sitting on a throne of skulls. And the thing about Doomsday, every time he dies, he comes back stronger
Yep.
and immune to however he died previously. So he is the ruler of hell, and he's going to figure out a way to get back to the land of the living. It's going to be up to Supergirl and Martian Manhunter to keep him from getting back to this plane of existence. But there's a lot going on in this one other than that. We're going to have the return of Bloodwind. For a while, Bloodwind was a persona that Martian
Right.
Manhunter took on, but then later became his own character.
I think they retconned it so that it, it turns out that Martian Manhunter was impersonating the real Bloodwind,
Right.
but originally it was just Martian Manhunter.
Uh, so there's that and the debut of the Doom Hounds, and it says a clue to the next big Superman event. And just from the little teaser I read of this, it actually feels like a very big story. This isn't just a little like, they go, they close a door, and they're like, "Oh, glad that's over."
Yeah.
No, it feels like there's a lot more to this.
Feels very ominous, like something
Yeah.
big and dangerous is coming.
And I know, no spoilers for it, but at the end, there's alluded to something else in hell that sounds really interesting. So I'm very excited about this. It sounds super cool. I love Doomsday as a character, so I'm very excited to read this. I'm going to withhold myself from reading our copy, their digital copy they sent us, because I want to read this in person. But we've got some great coverage for this as well. This is our A cover by BARENDS. We've got a PARRILLO variant. We've got a
I like
Puppeteer
that one.
Lee. This one looks like it could go in line with those Matina
Yeah,
Night
the
Horse
Nightmare Force. Yeah.
covers. But yeah, I mean, like, look how this is like ultimate Doomsday.
Hmm.
We also have our or this is the no, this is Kale New, I think. Oh, and then there is also a Dan Jurgens variant
I
that's
like
not
that one though
pictured.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's awesome. I'm excited for that. Like, I think it's
Yeah.
going to be really, really cool. So next is Local Man Gold. So this is a one shot that goes alongside the Local Man series over at Image, written by Tim Seeley, with art by Tony Fleeks. In that series, there is a guy. You see him on the left there. His name is Jack. Back in the back in the '90s, I guess, he was a superhero named Crossjack with this very '90s style, like '90s Image style team. But nowadays, he's just kind of like down on his luck. He got kicked off the team, and he's just kind of an everyman. Well, in this one shot, his superhero identity from the past, Crossjack, which you can see on the right there, he actually gets transported into the present day and comes face to face with current day him, which is just regular guy Jack. So Jack has to work to get Crossjack back to his time, back in the '90s. I'm not sure if it's exactly the '90s, but back to the past. But they are both being hunted by a vengeful hero from the past. And I mean, if you've read the current series, I mean, there's several characters that could be, so that'll be interesting to see. Um, this also guest stars characters from Cyberforce, Street Angel, Love Everlasting, which I'm really
Yeah.
interested to see how that is going to work in, because that's a wildly different book than this. And Boof and the Bruise Crew. So if anybody remembers that, and more, like guest stars galore in this from Image days of yore. So the current Local Man series is really good, really interesting. How they tell the current day story and weave in like flashbacks of when he was a hero, and now we're going to get a lot more of that. So this sounds really, really fun. We have our A cover here, and then we have our. I don't have the artist on this one. This is Fleeks as well, I believe.
Believe so.
Yeah.
But this is cool if people who read crossover wanted a bit
Yeah.
more crossover.
Yeah.
This is
This
your
is it.
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna get a lot of that in
Yeah.
this. So next up we have Batman Catwoman: The Gotham War Battle Lines #1. So this is the kickoff point of the new big crossover between Batman and Catwoman. Kind of a mini event, I
Yeah.
would say. It doesn't span the entire DC universe.
It's a big crossover story, but it's confined to the Batman corner of
Yeah.
the DC universe. So it's not another Night Terrors type thing. It's just it's the Bat stuff.
Right. So this is going to be by Chip Zdarsky and Teenie Howard, your respective writers of
Yep.
Batman and Catwoman. And there has been a decrease in crime in Gotham. Batman has been in his previous storyline been in another universe, but he awakens back in the regular one, and he has to check out like what's been going on since he does find out how long he's been gone.
He's got to catch up on his emails,
Yeah,
and
and all the stuff with night terrors and all
yeah.
that. So he's coming back to. He figures out he's been gone a little while, and things have changed. Crime has dropped in Gotham. Villains are now kind of running scared, all because Catwoman has done something. She's kind of taken over the city in Batman's absence. And is it a bad thing that crime's down, or is she maybe taking it to levels that even he wouldn't do to stop crime? So it sounds really interesting, and this is going to create a divide in the Bat family. People who maybe agree more with Catwoman's way of doing things or Batman's way of doing things. And since some members start leaving Batman's side, who is he going to replace them with? Maybe some not as straight-laced
Maybe
characters.
some ne'er do wells.
Yeah, but ones that maybe he'll put his trust in for a
Yeah.
little while. You'll have to read it to find out. But if you're planning on reading this storyline, if you're currently reading Catwoman or Batman, you'll want to pick this one up because that's going to be the storyline for a little while in each of those series. I think it sounds really cool. And there is something kind of an X factor in this that if you've been reading Batman, may be a contributing factor to what's going on that you'll know when you read it. So just tease you there with that. We've got some really great covers for this. This is our Jimenez A cover. We also have this is our Joe Quesada variant with Batman being like, come and get it.
Yeah.
We've got a Kale New variant.
I like that.
We have a blank variant, but I like this because you can see the logo for Gotham War with the bat symbol with the cat scratches through it. And this is really nice. This is the John Boy Myers foil variant. I think it's about $1 more, but I can only imagine on this maybe what's going to be the foil. If it's going to be that spot foil, I think this is going to look really nice.
All right, so next up, we have a new Silver Surfer Rebirth miniseries, Silver Surfer Rebirth Legacy. So, following up from the Silver Surfer Rebirth miniseries, just wrapped up. Still by Ron Mars and Ron Lim, your classic 90s cosmic era Marvel Silver Surfer guys. In this one, Silver Surfer takes Genis-Vell under his wing. You can see Genis-Vell on the cover there. Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel, Captain Marvel's son. Yeah. And Genis-Vell was in the last miniseries too, so they're still hanging out, palling around. Genis-Vell, however, is still kind of mourning the death of his father, and Silver Surfer has an idea about how to help him, but it's going to involve them going up against the Infinity Watch, which sounds awesome. So, Warlock and the Infinity Watch, from early 90s after the Infinity Gauntlet, they were established. You've got your Silver Surfer. This is all set like back around the time of the stories from the 90s as well. So it's another one of those mini series kind of set in the past. But this just sounds really cool. If you are a fan of early 90s cosmic Marvel, like I said, Adam Warlock, Infinity Watch, Silver Surfer, Captain Marvel, all that stuff, then this sounds really, really cool. I'm excited for the I haven't finished the last miniseries, but I really like what I read of it so far. So we have our A cover here, and then we have a Frank Miller variant, which he's about to get snatched up by Goliath. Hey, there's something behind you, Silver Surfer. And then we have a negative space variant of Thanos, and if he shows up too, that's going to be extra awesome. Oh, and our Ron Lim variant, yes.
Of course, you got to have.
Yeah, Ron Lim's got to do a cover for his own book, yeah.
Okay, next up we have a new Masters Universe series. This is Masters Universe Forge of Destiny. And this one is actually going to be a prequel to the Kevin Smith Netflix show. This is going to be written by Tim Seeley, who's been doing a lot of the recent Dark Horse Master Universe stuff. He's a big fan. And this just sounds really cool because it's kind of, they consider it a He-Man Year One.
Yeah, ooh.
So, maybe you get some of that. He's learning the extent of his powers. Also in this, he's going to be sent on a peaceful mission to an island nation, but little does he know that Skeletor and Evil Lyn have a plot in place, a trap set for him that could lead to all-out war. I think this sounds really cool. I love some of the characters that are featured on the cover, and some maybe not so familiar faces. Looks like some more of Skeletor's family before he
Yeah.
like, turned into Skeletor. Got Webster on there. This is really cool. I love the show. Can't wait for the next season. I think
Yeah,
this
that's
is kind
great.
of supposed to lead you up until the new season. So we've got this A cover here. We also have this Freddie Williams variant, and we have this Rodriguez
That's
variant.
really cool too. That has that very classic Saturday morning cartoon
Yeah,
feel to it.
they almost look like action figures.
Yeah. All right, so Night Terrors, Night's End. So we talked a little bit about this one last week, only because there was a special cover that needed an extra week
Yep.
a lead time. This is the end of the Night Terror storyline. So if you've been reading any Night Terrors whatsoever, do not miss this because this is and like I said, this is the last time on this show we'll be talking about Night Terrors because this is the end right here. It's going to be an oversized one shot wrapping up the entire story. The heroes have escaped the Nightmare Realm, but the Nightmare League has followed them into the real world. So the entire world becomes engulfed in horror. The heroes are going to be off dealing with all that, leaving only Deadman to deal with insomnia, which sounds awesome. Like you've
Yeah.
got this event that's been running for 2 months, and it's all up to Deadman. Like that's crazy. Like normally it's like, oh, Superman and Batman have to do something. No, this is Deadman. You know, it's his responsibility to take down the big bad of this whole thing. Um, what's really cool about this too is that the ending continues the Dawn of DC mystery, which we still don't quite know what it is yet. We've gotten some teases. Was it at the end of Lazarus Planet, I think, where we saw Amanda Waller,
Hmm.
Peacemaker, Peace
Yeah.
Wrecker, the weird looking Joker colored Batman looking thing, and I think there's a couple like they're still doing something. They're still planning something with all of those characters. We don't know what yet. So that's like a big mystery. And we get introduced to Doctor Hate,
Hmm.
which I don't quite know who that is. I don't know what his role is going to be or her role. I'm not even sure if it's a who they are. But yeah, so wrapping up Night Terrors and also giving us a little bit of a tease, planting a little bit of a seed of the next thing to come in DC Comics. So I'm really excited for this. And again, if you've been reading Night Terrors at all, you definitely do not want to miss this because this is the end. So we have our A cover here, and then we've got a Simone DeMeo cover, and then we have our Miko Suyan cover as well.
Very creepy.
Yeah.
Then we got a new miniseries for you. This is a 4-issue miniseries, Hunt for the Skinwalker. You can see on the cover this is
Oh,
a
that's a face.
Simmons cover,
Yeah.
but this is by Zach Thompson and Valeria Berzo. And this is really interesting when I started doing some research on it. First, I thought it's just like a spin-off of like Department of Truth, even though it's a different publisher, but something very similar to that. This is about a small ranch that has been the epicenter of paranormal happenings for the last 50 years. And this is based on a true story
Okay.
from a nonfiction book written in 2005 about the Gorman Ranch and the crazy investigations that went on there. There's, aliens, there's ghosts, there's everything that happens around this ranch. There's been a lot of investigations that have been brought in, and the evidence they have there is crazy, all that kind of stuff. And so Zach Thompson, the writer, has worked closely with the writer of the book and journalists that covered it
Okay.
to bring you this. They call it a category defying tale. So it sounds really cool. It's a interesting idea to kind of have a non-fiction comic, but that's still based around kind of
Well, it reminds me
supernatural.
of the James Tynion stuff that he's doing. What's that
Oh, the
book?
Blue Book.
Yeah, the Blue Book. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's still based on a true story, but it's still kind of creepy and all. Yeah, this sounds fun.
Yeah, so I'm very excited about this. I feel like this is one that might slip under some people's
Mhm.
radars, but that will appeal to a wide
Yeah.
crowd, especially if you're a fan of stuff like Blue Book, Department of Truth, all of that. You'll definitely want to pick this up. So this is our A cover for that, and we also have the Vilches variant, which is super creepy. And before we go into other number ones, just want to remind you, you can head over to infinityflux.net right now where you can pre-order any of these comics. You got to do it before Sunday at 9, so you make sure you do not miss out on any of it. Everything you pre-order, you get 10% off of. Set up a subscription there so you never miss any issues. And that is all at infinityflux.net. So next, we are going to get into our other number ones. These are just more number ones. They're not our featured ones, but we still want to make you aware there's still so much more coming out.
So we're going to start with the Birds of Prey #1. However, this is just this one cover.
Yeah.
So the main Birds of Prey series, the brand new one from Kelly Thompson, cover A, cover B, cover C, all of that is going to be on final order cutoff next weekend. So you still have a full week to order that one. But if you want this particular cover, then the final order cutoff is this weekend. So we'll talk more about the details of the book next Friday. But we just wanted to make you aware that if you want this cover, the cutoff is this weekend. And what's the like? Is there a fancy term for
It's
this?
called a triptych.
Triptych.
It's a 3-part picture
Yeah,
that folds out.
it's like a wraparound. So there's an image on the back, and then your cover image, but then there's like a gatefold inside the cover as well. And we have all three images, so
Yeah,
that's going to
so
be on the back.
This is the far right side. Then we have the center with Big Barda
Yeah.
and some of those. And then this was the far left side. So if you want this one, I guess since it has to be kind of specialty made,
Yeah.
they need a little bit more lead time to make sure these are all printed.
Yeah, it's very similar to how we talked about Night Terror's the Knight's End book last week,
Yeah.
the special cover last week. So some of these books, depending on the cover, need like an extra little bit of lead time. So, but again, it's only for this cover, and all the other covers are on FOC next weekend, and we'll talk more about the book then.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have Catwoman Uncovered. And this doesn't take much explanation. This is very much like the Poison Ivy one we just got. There was a Joker one. There was a Harley Quinn one. This is a collection of some of the best covers, variant covers, A covers, special like store exclusive covers for Catwoman over this past run of her series. But what I think is what's fun about a lot of them is they're kind of commentated by the character.
Yeah.
So the Poison Ivy one was really good, where she would pop in on a few pages and talk to the reader about the cover and that kind of stuff. So I'm guessing the same deal with the Catwoman. Plus, we've got some great covers for this. This is our A cover. This is the Jamie McKelvey. We have a Frank Cho variant, a Coipel variant, and a Art Germ variant. Actually, I think this is not Art Germ. There's one, and then okay, maybe that is the Art Germ variant.
Is it Stanley Lau?
Yeah.
That's
his.
That's right. That's right.
I got confused because it didn't write the
Yeah.
whole thing. Yeah, and this is a foil variant.
All right, so next we've got Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance, Omega. So this is the end of the 4-part storyline that sees Ghost Rider and Wolverine teaming up. The very beginning of this comes out next week on Wednesday, the Alpha issue, and then there's going to be one issue of Ghost Rider, one issue of Wolverine, and then this wraps up. So it's just a little 4-part thing. So this is the end of that. So if you're going to read that when it comes out, starting next Wednesday, be sure to get this as the end. Ben Percy is the writer, Jeff Shaw on art. So we don't know much about the story since it's not out yet, but we do know that Wolverine and Ghost Rider go up against a demonic being called the Stitcher, not the online radio thing. This is an actual like a bad guy. And we also have a question about who is Father Pike. I don't know if that's I don't remember that character from the current run of Ghost Rider, so maybe it's a new character that we're going to get in this miniseries, or I guess it's not even really a miniseries because it's just a little crossover.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out who he is in this. And yeah, so if you plan on getting that, then don't miss the last issue here. We have our A cover, and then we have Williams variant as well.
And next up, we've got our next annual that's going to be part of the Contest of Chaos story. This is SpiderGwen Annual. Very excited for this because, SpiderGwen does not have an ongoing series right now.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get like...
It's weird to get an annual without a series to go with.
Usually they're attached somehow. But this one for Contest of Chaos is going to be by Carla Pacheco and Stephanie Phillips. And this is going to be Ghost Spider versus White Fox. And it does say when Gwen Stacy skips school to go to a theme park, they are both, her and White Fox, pulled into Agatha's Contest of Chaos. So I think that sounds fun. Theme park, Spider-Gwen, and White Fox all together. Really cool. This is our A cover. And then we have this really nice variant. This is the Ji-Young Lee Spider-Gwen variant with kind of ballet Spider-Gwen.
I love that.
And then we have a America and Dolphin variant there.
It's fun.
The theme park in the background.
Yeah. All right, so this is Spine Tingling Spider-Man #0. So this is a 9.99 book, and this is going to collect the spine-tingling Spider-Man Infinity comic that you can read on the Marvel Unlimited app. That's all. That was digital first. It's made for that platform, but now they are presenting it in a physical version. The whole story is going to be presented in this book. It is described as the most terrifying Spider-Man story ever. It involves Spencer Smythe, the Spider Slayers, and one of the worst threats to Aunt May that you have ever experienced. And like, oh my gosh, what could that be? Because she's been through the ringer over the last 60 plus years. There is a new spine tingling Spider-Man series coming, like a mini series, right? So that's, I think there is, and that's why they're putting this together too, so that you can read the original series first in a nice one shot collecting the whole thing. So if that sounds interesting to you, don't miss that. We have our A cover here. We also have a Greg Land variant, and we have a Peach Momoko variant. That one's creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy. His chest spider is a real.
Yeah,
I
eyeballs.
think they're eyeball.
Ooh,
She does love drawing eyeballs.
yeah. Oh gosh.
So next up we have a new I guess spin-off series from the Patton Oswalt written book Minor
Oh yeah.
Threats. We've got a lot of calls and stuff about Minor Threats. People guess just now learning about it, want to get the collected edition of it, want to get on the series. So this is going to be by Patton Oswalt, Tim Seeley, and Jordan Bloom. It's from World of Minor Threats Alternates. I keep wanting to say alternatives. Alternates. And the art is by Chris Mitten. In this, it sees heroes who seem to have sacrificed themselves to stop an invasion, kind of classic superhero
Yeah.
style, were actually been transported to a mirror dimension where they lived. It says, the main world they live in is very two-dimensional. It's kind of classic superhero to a very three-dimensional world
Hmm.
where they lived there for 5 years before returning, and these now way more complex characters are coming into a
Like
more
a simple world.
simplified
Yeah.
world, and how do they adapt to that and everything. So it's really fun. I want to read the whole first volume of Minor
Yeah.
Threats. I think it sounds a lot of fun. So if you like that and you want to jump on to this new series, this is it. There is our A cover, and then we have our B cover by Tim Seeley. Next up, we've got notable twos and threes. These are some series that they just started and wanted to, remind you, hey, if you haven't signed up for them, sign up for them. Plus, some further along in the series books, but that are notable and we want to let you know about.
Starting with Conan the Barbarian #2. Holy cow. So Conan the Barbarian #1 just came out a couple days ago. It is fantastic. It was my favorite book of the week. And this is the second issue. So if you read the first one, you know that Conan met a new character named Brissa. She is going to be, I guess, kind of an ally to them. And in this one, they are going to have to fight back to back against this big savage horde known as the Army of the Lost. And it's basically, I mean, I hate to say it, but like when I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, there's zombies. Conan's fighting zombies." But it's like a cursed village. Like all of these villagers, all of these soldiers fell under this curse, and it's like a big horde, and they are just laying waste to everything in their path. And at the end of last issue, Conan was wanting to hurry back to Samaria so that they didn't, so he could get back to his people, so they could defend Samaria. And Brissa tells him they're already there, and that
Yeah.
sent me chills. So now they're gonna have to deal with all of those, all of that cursed army, and they have some successes, but each success creates a new obstacle to victory. So I mean, I can only imagine it's just two of them versus this giant horde of cursed soldiers. And I guess it is kind of zombie-like because I thought one of them in the first issue bit somebody and then they became cursed.
I'm not sure.
Because he did say something like, "For every one I cut down, two more seem to pop
Yeah.
up," something like that. So this book is fantastic. The first issue was phenomenal. The art is fantastic. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. Don't miss the second issue if you enjoyed the first one. We have our A cover here by Qua. We have our De La Torre variant. That's your interior artist right there. So the inside of the book looks like this, and it's beautiful. We have our Zafino cover, our Gist retro variant, which looks like an old like Savage Sword of Conan
Mhm.
book, and then we have a parent variant.
Yes,
Yeah.
your Archie artist doing
Yeah.
a Conan. Also, just a big thanks to Jim Zub, who watched the
Yeah.
video, the writer of Conan, and thanked us for our nice review of it and promised that issue 2 and 3 are even crazier.
That's right.
So if you like that first one, you got it right from the horse's mouth himself.
Yeah, I thought about that quote after I read the first issue. You know, I turned the last page. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that was crazy!" And then thinking about him saying issues 2 and 3 are even crazier, like, "Oh, this is phenomenal."
So next up, we've got Star Wars Dark Droids #2. Dark Droids #1 just came out. There is a kind of virus-like entity that is spreading throughout the droids in the Star Wars universe, with just the single mindset of it that it hungers for more. So we met that in the first one. We also met Ajax Sigma. He's a droid that has popped up here and there for the past year in stories, but he's a droid who has started his own sentient droid religion, and he's going to be one of the only things that stands between the Scourge virus and the rest of the galaxy. So if you read #1, you liked it, make sure to subscribe to #2. This is our A cover.
And on this cover, I love, just real quick, like, C-3PO's face looks completely normal. He doesn't have like furrowed eyebrows, but he still looks so menacing just by giving him different colored eyes, leaning him forward and putting his hands up.
Yeah,
and
the
he
shadows
looks,
and everything.
He looks terrifying.
So we also have, this is our Casanovas droid connecting variant. So you'll be seeing a bunch of these, kind of highlighting all your favorite droids from the Star Wars universe. We have our John Tyler Christopher
like
action figure variant and the Rachel Stott Scourged variant.
All right, so next we have Magneto #2. This is the second issue of the miniseries that just kicked off this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is another one that's set back back in time where Magneto is the head of the New Mutants, kind of leading them. The solicitation says, "Enter the Queen of Wrath." So we got introduced to this character. Is it Irie?
Yeah, I believe so.
We got introduced to her in the last issue. Magneto's attempting to turn over a new leaf, but she isn't having it. So he's going to have to go up against her. And what shocking revelation is in store for Magneto? You read this.
Yeah.
Was she a pretty cool character?
Yeah, she is.
You said she like took something from him.
She kind of she brings out the rage and like the dark side of people, and she's trying to pull them back out of Magneto.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
To kind of return him to being the Magneto of the villains and everything. And she's got her own sisterhood of evil.
Oh, that's right.
Which
Yeah.
is really cool.
Yeah, so our A cover here is by Todd Knock, and then we have our Larry Houston X-Men 60th anniversary variant.
This one kind of reminds me of like an old Guardians of the Galaxy cover.
Yeah, combined with the 90s X-Men animated series.
Okay, next up we got another one. This is X-Men #26. And why are we spotlighting this? Because it is the beginning of the wedding between Emma Frost and Tony Stark. This is the X-Men side of the story. And this one is set a little bit before the wedding. The full actual vows, if that even happens, who knows, with a superhero wedding, is going to be in Iron Man #10 that's releasing on the 27th of September. But in this one, this is Emma basically revealing to the rest of the X-Men and the mutants that she is getting married to Tony Stark, and what questions will they have about this? Probably a lot.
Probably the same questions we have, because what I find fascinating about this is we don't have any idea why Tony and Emma are getting married. There's got to be something more there. We're trying to put together clues, but this kind of came out of nowhere. There has never been any indication that Tony and Emma are in like a relationship, so there's got to be another reason for it. We have no idea why this is happening.
Yeah, I hate to say it's not because of love, but I haven't seen much evidence.
Right, yeah.
So this is our A cover, a beautiful, I believe this is Lucas Wernick A cover. Then we have our Alex Ross connecting cover. So this is part D of that. So you kind of got to look around for the different books to figure out how to complete the classic X-Men #1 cover. But this is, I guess, the final one with Magneto. He was on the far right.
That's right. Yeah, he was on
of the cover. Then we have our Molina X-Men 60th anniversary variant. Very cool. And our Mark Brooks corner box variant with, I love this team. You got Rogue and Cable and Jubilee, Gambit, Psylocke, Jean, Bishop. Just very, very cool.
If you need to time travel, that team has got you covered.
For sure. Okay, next up we've got cool covers. These are just some super cool covers we wanted to show you that, I'm sure the books inside are great,
Yep.
but the covers really stood out to us.
So Fantastic Four number 11, this really cool Alexander Lozano variant. And this issue sounds cool because Ben Grimm wakes up and he's just falling uh down to the core of the earth. And the book's just centered around him and he's got to figure out like how to save the rest of the Fantastic Four and how to stop himself from falling to the
That's
center of
so
the earth.
cool.
Like that's great.
That's how this whole Fantastic Four run has
Yeah,
been.
it's
It's
been
just like, here's a weird situation.
Yep.
Next up, we've got Amazing Spider-Man number 33, and this begins our Spider-Man's first hunt. So what's going on that's now Kraven is the prey and Spider-Man is the hunter? Something weird's going on with Spider-Man. We'll have to figure out what it is.
Yep.
But this is our Vasquez variant, and we also have our Disney 100 variant with Daisy Duck as Miss Marvel.
This is Scarlet Witch number 8. This very nice I lost my place. Scott Forbes variant. In this one, Scarlet Witch goes up against Loki.
Very cool. Yep. And next up, we have Star Wars issue number 38. And in this one, it's a Dark Droids tie-in, and the Scourge droids make their way through Jabba's palace. So that's going to be really fun. And we've got this fantastic the Clone Wars 15th anniversary cover with Commander Cody. And we also have our next of the connecting, the Casanovas droid connecting variants.
All right, so Poison Ivy number 14. This cover is a bioluminescent UV reactive and glow in the dark variant. That's a lot. So this cover is going to change your life with all the different things it can do. So yeah, and plus it's a cool mysterious image. I like that.
Yeah. And next up we have Scourge number 21 from the Spawn universe. This is the Matina cover, and in this one, a new member has joined the Scourge team that no one's really happy about. So you have to read it to find out, but I love this cover with heart.
Yeah. Oof.
It's hard to look
Yeah,
at.
Alice Never After number 2, this super duper creepy Mercado variant. And after the end of last issue, Alice has now found herself in a newfound role that changes everything for her.
And next up, we have World Treat number 5. This is actually the end of the first story arc. It feels like this just got started, but no, this is wrapping up the first story arc, and this is our Fezula variant.
I love this. Elvira in Monsterland number 4. Mech Elvira versus a kaiju. I mean, that's all you need right there. This is by Acosta.
And then we have our PARRILLO variant for Gargoyles number 9. And this starts the trial of Goliath as Goliath goes on trial to prove the Gargoyles' humanity. So it sounds really cool, and this great Xanatos cover. Okay, next up we've got other printings and graphic novels. These are reprints of some popular books and some collected editions we thought you'd want to know about.
Starting with a facsimile edition of Wonder Woman number 1 from 1987, done by George Perez, the classic, right after Crisis on Infinite Earths. If you have not read that, don't miss this. This is your chance to get it as it was originally printed. And there's a foil version to this book.
Version and a sketch.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, a facsimile with a sketch variant.
They did that with that Batman, the first Killer Croc.
Oh, okay.
That one had a sketch one.
Huh.
It's very weird, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool to, maybe you can play around with what character you want drawn on
right,
or something. Yeah. Okay, next up we have Incredible Hulk number 2 from our most recent that just started. I mean, this issue, we haven't got issue 3 yet.
Right.
Already number 2 going back to the second print. I thought this issue was awesome. Super weird indie horror feel. I mean, I believe this is a panel from that page, and I believe this is the last page of the book.
I believe so, yeah.
Hulk is not really in this very much, but I love this too. We also see where he transforms at a different rate, different parts of his body transform.
Yeah. There's a lot of body horror in this.
Yeah. So if you missed that one or you like this cover, you can pre-order it now.
This is really cool. So this is a hardcover collection of the Batman '89 miniseries that came out I think it was late last year, early this
Yeah.
year, something like that. This is a new, this is a special edition of it. The dust jacket is what you see here, and it's a recreation of the classic Batman 1989 movie poster.
Yeah. I feel like
Um,
this is like the VHS box, is what I always
Oh my gosh, I
remember.
had that,
Yeah.
and like everybody's, like, because it was solid black like
Yeah.
this. Mine was all, after a while, it was all beat up and like creased and everything. This was all over the place in 1989, so I have fond memories of that.
Yeah.
And this is a nice dust jacket for that miniseries.
Case.
Oh, was it a
I
slipcase?
believe it's a slipcase that you like pull it out of.
Oh, okay, this just says dust jacket, but
Oh, I'm not sure. Maybe you're right, but I know it's really fancy, and it's celebration of Batman Day.
oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, Batman Day coming up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is just a dust jacket, but very cool.
Yeah.
And a great series if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
The uh, kind of official sequel to Batman '89,
Right. Or is it
to
Returns?
to Returns. It's kind of hard to figure out where
Yeah, I
it fits
couldn't-
in, but
When I was reading, I didn't know if like Batman Returns, like, does it count
yeah.
in this or not? So I
But the
can't quite
Batman in
figure
it looks like Michael Keaton.
That's right.
All the characters
Yeah,
look
Billy
like
D.
that.
Williams as Harvey Dent, all
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got a really nice omnibus. This is Super Sons omnibus. It's actually called the Super Duper
Yeah,
edition
I love that.
because they say it's got more in it. So this collects Super Sons 1 through 12, Challenge of the Super Sons 1 through 7, Superman 10, 11, and 37 through 38, Teen Titans 15, and a story from Robin's 8th anniversary 100-page Super Spectacular #1. So a lot of
It's a lot.
stuff in here. Pretty much all of the appearances of the Super Sons for the most part. If you've never read any of this, it's so good. I love these two likely unlikely friends.
Yeah.
And I miss John Kent being young. He's great now, but if you've never read this, highly recommend this one. And it is 125 for that.
All right, so where are my ROM fans at? We've got the facsimile edition of ROM #1. They're around.
I've seen your
The facsimile edition of #1, because Marvel recently got the rights back to
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, and to Micronauts too. So I don't know what's going on over there, but it's awesome. This is going to have a foil and a sketch cover as well. So not to be outdone by DC, they're doing their own thing. But also, where are my ROM fans at? Because we have the ROM Omnibus Volume 1, or ROMnibus, as I think it should be
It
called.
should be called.
Yeah, this is going to collect ROM numbers 1 through 29 and Power Man and Iron Fist 73. You know,
Is he appear in that?
I guess I don't.
Okay.
I'm not sure. This is going to be $125 though for 30 issues in this book, and this omnibus has 4 different covers, which is pretty rare for an omnibus. This is our Frank Miller cover, which is the first cover of the first issue. We have a Buscema variant, which is like, it's just one of the pages out of one of the issues. There is a Frank Miller variant where he goes up against the X-Men, and then there's a George PEREZ variant as well.
Very cool. I've
Yeah.
never read any ROM.
I haven't either.
But I knew there was a time where people were like, there is no way Marvel will ever get the rights to ROM
Yeah.
back. Like, people would want it. People wanted like a Marvel Legends figure of ROM,
Yeah.
all of that, and it just seemed like that was impossible. So now that they're getting this, I mean, that's awesome.
I've been trying to buy back issues because for the longest time, that's the only way you could read it. It wasn't collected. It wasn't digital.
Yep.
If you want to read ROM, you had to find the back issues. And those are the kinds of books I like to collect. So I've been getting them every chance I get. And now I don't need to.
You can still get them.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that is it for Comics from the Future. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to place your orders due in this Sunday, at least for our store. You check with your own store when they need their orders in. But just want to remind you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is a very easy click for you, but it means a whole lot to us if you do that. We've got so much more awesome stuff planned for our YouTube channel, more videos, kind of upgrading our videos. You'll have to wait and see what that means. And just so much more fun stuff on the horizon that you don't want to miss. So you got to subscribe so you make sure you're there for it. Yeah, some really great books this week.
Oh, yeah.
Hope everyone
Big week.
enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for our next show, which will be Monday, where we are going over some of the biggest books that are coming out next week.
Yep.
And yeah, anything else?
That'll do it.
That will do it indeed. So, again, thank you for watching, and until next time.
See ya.